Right. Since I didn't get someone else to say they were going to do the intro, it's on me. We're having our board meeting. What number is this? Number 14?
Number 1 and number infinity.
Both at the same time. So, as stated right before we went live, there is nothing officially on the agenda at the moment. My assumption is just how do we get more involvement, or how do we create something that is more beneficial for our projects if we're the ones who are showing up. And tomorrow is our first 2 p.m. one. And there should be someone watching because I'm watching on my other device. This video is starting soon. Join. Full transparency. So yeah, what is it that would bring more value to us and our projects, including just continuing on as we are doing? And also, Carrie, now that we are live, I would love to hear the update that you were about to give that I wanted to say.
Okay. Oh, that's awful. Right. So basically, I forgot to change the name servers over, so I couldn't upload the website. So, but it's uploaded, but I just can't get access to it till the name servers changed over. So complete dick. So I just wanted to know about like content and that, because on Drupal there's a kind of book module that you can have. So whatever content you can have it like a book. So I was thinking about, as I said, I'm going to create a sandbox so you can all play in, and I'll set a few things up and that, and then you can tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you think maybe should be added. So, but there's a book module that would actually give you, so say like if you had the project, you could have that, and you could have the book module, and you could put links to different pages where you could just go in and put stuff. So if people come across it, they can read it like a book, and the navigation's like a book. So I just thought that might be an interesting way of, rather than just trying to get forums set up, but like if you've got specific project details, like we could use the forums and that for research purposes for projects. Because I think it would be too early for a group. Also, I was speaking to Yvette yesterday, and she's working with We the World Foundation, who's also going to get I think the live streaming channels. So I think she's going to get a channel for that as well. Also, she's working on a film festival project. So I've asked her, does she want to join the back end of the stuff and then join us all? And then she can get a team of people in with her, you know what I mean? So they can, everything will be open on the back end, but the project listing site and the events and that. And is there anything else that you think that you might like in terms of, what you would like as a sort of like a gang gut sort of thing? Like, 'cause I know the listing's going to be on the outside, so anyone anonymous can see it. But if people want to get more involved with people and the projects, they can come behind the scenes then. So I've got to kind of structure it so anonymous people can see it. And then obviously if they want to join or leave comments, that I'll do them a special membership. But I said if they want to get involved, either bring their own projects, because I think if someone's got an idea for something, like Mark did, and then put in various posts, and then we can link up to all the discussion in the various areas, because I know everybody's all over the place in Discord, and I haven't been in there yet, so I thought I'd get this set up, then I can sprout out everywhere and then see what's going on there. And then because what I'm doing won't be in Facebook, it'll be outside of Facebook, so people who are not interested in being part of Facebook can join as well, you know what I mean? But we can have links to all the other sites, and you can get third party logins, but I don't know whether you'd want to use your Facebook login to log into the site, because that's possible as well. So if there's anything you can think of that would be useful that we don't have just now, if you can let me know, that'd be great.
Is there a downside to having Facebook and Google login beyond the individual one, right? That they then have my information tied to it?
I don't know, but like obviously it's, like if you've got passwords all over the place, then it's kind of like crap. But if you just want to log in with it, so it's easier for you. You know, I'm quite happy to do.
I use that all the time when it's available for that very reason, that it's just easier to have it. But if people are looking for another place to have a conversation that isn't Facebook, one of the other places they go is Discord, which does not have the Facebook and Google login, which is part of the downfall of it, is that you can have multiple, like every time you click it, it creates you a new account if you don't know to do that, because if it linked to your Facebook account, then it would know that you already exist. But I vote for yes to that, but I'm not the tech person. I wouldn't, it's not a big enough barrier to me when I get there. In fact, it's a plus, not a minus, but it would be a minus for our people, is my question, of the more techie people that are present.
I think as long as it's optional, that's fine. That's most of the Facebook and Google logins I've seen. You can do the normal login, or you can choose to do Facebook and Google. I don't do those, but I assume people are okay at navigating that. Like in my experience, the less techie people who might have confusion finding the non-Facebook and Google, I think they're more likely to use Facebook and Google for logins, and then techie people that are, I assume, less likely should be a bit better at navigating it. But interested to hear what others think.
Yeah, as long as it's optional, that should be fine.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. That was, I didn't know if there were alternative consequences that like a non-techie wouldn't see and be like, yes, I want to be able to log in, but it's giving Facebook and Google all of our power.
I mean, every once in a while when someone comes, you forget which one you used, and if you're using...
I can barely hear you.
Oh, right.
Yeah, me
Is
too.
that the same for everyone else?
Does that work better? No.
Yeah.
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 Well, I'll
Look at the
fix it in a
microphone.
second. The audio, it auto adjusted. The only thing is sometimes people forget which one they logged in with, but that's not a technical issue. It's a human issue.
Okay, is there any other content types?
Maybe would it help if we had a discussion on like what we're doing in that back end? Like it's so that when someone finds a project, they can come and be part of multiple projects, right? Like I don't know if we envisioned something for you, or that would be way too complex to make, or whether that would help or hurt you is the question.
No, it'll be all right, because as I said, I can do most things on it. It's just sort of like getting the content structure, the content types, and what content that we want there, and also how it's structured and the taxonomies and stuff. So it's easy to find things as well, you know. So yeah, so that's why I was thinking about the book idea for the project. So as I said, if you're there, you can just click through and you can have a directory of project books, and that will contain all information where you can go and write your own story. As I said, I'll use the forums for like creating social media strategies and strategies for each of your projects and what you're doing, and I can get people to sort of like, you know, obviously there's going to be outside people who come in, but so if we're talking to Yvette tomorrow, so I thought if me, you and Yvette get together, and I'd like to get together with Adriel, Matoush and Bentley, and then figure out, you know, principles and everything else before joining, so we can work on the who and the why, and then if we get those straight, and then we can take it from there. And as I said, it doesn't have to scale up. I'm not interested in it scaling up to huge amounts of people, but I'm more interested in the relationships that people have in there with the projects and stuff, and that, because that's the main, because the relationships with who, it's the who that matters more than anything else. So that'd be great.
So it's for a small number of people, so like maybe a few hundred at this point, and just, or like what number are you envisioning, and at what point is this one not working and we need a bigger, better?
Oh, well, the thing about Drupal, do you want to turn your mic off? Do you want to mute yourself, Jubilee? That's better. Right. The thing about Drupal is that you can scale it up to big numbers of people. So I'm not saying that I want it to grow huge and massive and all of that, but I want us as a nucleus, all of us here and Yvette, as a nucleus crew, kind of. And as I said, as we meet people and as we get talking to them, and if they want to, You know what I mean? They don't have to, but it's not mandatory. You know, if they want to come along and join. But I just think it'd be a good idea to see everybody's project, see where you're at. And as I said, if you leave questions, because we're all over the place, it's difficult to know where to leave messages that don't get lost in everything else. You know what I mean? So, and if I see research that pertains to Adriel's project or Bentley's or Matusha's project or yours, you know what I mean? I can leave stuff that you'll actually see, you know what I mean? And then we can take it from there and help each other to like develop strategies for moving along and stuff. So, but as I said, we'll be the kind of nucleus of it, and then we'll kind of structure the network. So as people are joining, you know, they're there for either the people who've got the projects have invited them in, or it's somebody who's wanted to come and join us. And then that way we can get to know. So I've been watching loads of stuff about community building, and it's the why that people go for, but it's the who that makes the people stay. You know what I mean? So as I said, if we figure out the who and the principles and that, and then, because what I don't want is people coming in and just deciding to be total arseholes. And then we'll go, well, what do we do? And we just, you know, you need to sort things out from the get-go. So they know if they've got these principles to at least abide by, then, you know, if they're arseholes, they're gone. You know what I mean? Because we shouldn't have to put up with that. And they knew the rules anyway. So, you know what I mean?
What is the definition of asshole, Gary?
Well, someone being a complete dick to other people for no reason at all. That's all.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't know how hard it's hard to know what that line is. And for me anyway, I want to create a culture where people are allowed to make mistakes, i.e. be assholes and redeem themselves without necessarily needing to, you know, be kicked out and do. In Facebook, that's nearly impossible. And I'm not saying something you're creating is going to be able to facilitate, but if we're doing it from a small base and growing, is there a way to, because what I'm seeing in other, like there's the game B that I admin and then the Kyle Cease one that went by the wayside because all the other admins were getting their feelings hurt of like, this person criticized me. And it's like, yeah, they were so mean. I'm like, they mentioned something. And I'm not saying that that's what's going to necessarily happen, but if it's like one person's feels triggered, then like, what is the metric for kicking someone out? But if you open it up to everyone, there will be trolls and there will be people trying to be assholes, trying to be an asshole versus just being yourself and being seen as an asshole and having a bad day and being an asshole. To me, it's different, but that doesn't mean that that's what needs to be done.
Oh, okay. Well, I know there's going to be people who are going to be on the edges, right? And you can learn from people on the edges. And like, if someone's called you something because you've been getting on the case or whatever, I'm like, well, you shouldn't, you know what I mean? So take a view of the situation that's arised, right? Or even find out why they're acting like that, right? And what reasons. And I'm not talking about, oh, you know, I don't like your hair or whatever. Oh, you look a bit scruffy. So, you know what I mean? No, I mean, constantly sort of like maybe, I don't know. I've yet to meet someone, right? Even in communities and that, as I said, if there's always going to be people on the edges who kind of skate by and they're going to sort of like maybe not live up to the criteria. Like you're allowed to be an arsehole at times, but if you're an arsehole all the time for no reason, you've got to have a reason. But as I said, and find out why they were being like that and what you know, and maybe give them something to do. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people who are trolls they're just bored and got nothing to do. So I'm sure if you find them something to do and something that they're contributing, that's something that they want to do, then we can take it from there. But as I said, I'm not going, you know, like there's different levels of meanness that people like. For someone could be really mean to me and I might not see it or see it that way, but somebody else might. So, but as I said, just find them something to do. You know what I mean?
If they want to, yeah, that would be a good solution. So one of the things, this is not in a small group of people, it's the opposite of what I think you need. but to be able to block people effectively actually makes a community as opposed to hurts it. Like if I know that Bentley and I can get in, and if I don't want to hear from him for a month, I can just mute him or I can block him completely, then I don't need to worry about everyone else also ostracizing him or vice versa. Like it actually helps because I can just be like, we have a personality conflict. We can't sit at the same table and make sure we're not going to sit at the same table versus me needing everyone to gang up on him because he's a horrible human being because he said something that hurt my feelings. And so he's out of here or I'm out of here, which it's very different to be like, oh, actually, we can just separate. Like we can just never be at a meeting again. And it also gives the empowerment to be like, or is there another option? Do we have a conflict resolution thing? Like, is there, but it's up to Bentley and I in this case, right? To decide, are we both in that? Or do we want to have the resolution? And if we're neither of us, one of us doesn't want to, then blocking is the easiest way. But again, I don't think with 20 people you want that. It's more with like 200 people.
Well, as I said, there's stuff that can be built in as we go. Because as I said, it'll just, I'm hoping, well, I think it will emerge, and I don't know which way it's going to emerge, but I'm just going to let it because you can't plan for emergence because that's not emergence, is it? So I'm just going to start with us, see what, because the aim is to sort of like get everybody here, have some success and to develop some success in what they're doing as well. You know what I mean? So, and as the community side of it, that's there to save you all. You know what I mean? As best as I can, and to make sure that you've got everything that you need. And obviously, if people come in and they want to sort of like play out with us, you know what I mean? And that's great and we'll take it from there. As I said, it's all about the who. And if you're enjoying spending your time and having fun and doing stuff and it's working and you're getting together and things are going along and you've got a place to hang out that, you feel comfortable in and that, you know what I mean? So
I mean, I'm sorry, Karen. I mean, so the what I thought you were doing with the Drupal site was kind of like a resource for projects. So I didn't think of that as a hangout space or a space where personalities would have a big thing. It's more information and maybe, like you said, a place you can put things.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it sounds like you're saying something that would be an alternative to the Facebook page.
Well, no, it's not going to be an alternative. As I said, there's going to be a directory listings. Yeah. And also sort of like a place for research. Right. So Bentley, say if I'm coming across some research for you in your project, I can put it in a place and we can create documents or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that will be sort of like, right, research for reason score and all these links that you can have and things and make it kind of like a media thing. So whether it's images, whether it's videos, whether it's, stuff that you need to know, and also and build social media strategies and leave it, and that'll be specific to yours. Mm-hmm. And then you'll have that there. So if anybody comes in and who's looking for stuff, who's looking at your project, that might help me in mine. You know what I mean? So,
right. No, yeah, right. So I guess what I'm saying is that the part about like the people that's there drawing stuff, it's not a community thing. So those principles that you're bringing up apply more to our Facebook presence than to.
Well, it could be both. You know what I mean? So
it can be.
Yeah. So,
but I'm just saying those principles don't apply that much in that space. It's not the type of space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until there's a lot of capacity for people to like to go and add comments and have the whole like chain that you get in Facebook, it might just end up being somebody puts a resource. Like I think that Reason Score would. That this resource is applicable, and then somehow in posting that, they also post something insulting. I guess could be a way that it would be done.
But Carrie, I don't have any like expectations for this new site or needs for it.
Right. Okay.
I mean, it's a bit of a distraction, but I'm willing to give it a try. Because I mean, right now, if anyone wants to learn about my project or give me feedback, I'd rather that go through my webpage. This resource might be good for people that don't have that.
Yeah, well, as I said, the projects listing will be on the outside, and now it's you know what I mean. So there will be links to your page and that you know what I mean. So anyone coming across it, the link will be made public for everybody to see what the projects are, and they can take it from that. And obviously, if they want to, or if they've got a project of their own that they might want to come and join the back end of it, you know what I mean, and stuff like that.
So it's definitely your vision so far, and so I'd like to see. You've told us a bit about it, but I'm not sure I can like picture it in my mind. So maybe when you get kind of the first version, once those name servers are done, if we could have a meeting and you could show us what you got, and we could.
Yeah, and I was just going to make a sandbox. Do what I can, and then get you to come in and have a poke around.
Yeah, I think it'd still be helpful. A sandbox doesn't help if I don't know what it was for. So I'd still like to just have a meeting where you show us what you were thinking.
Right. Okay.
Because the sandbox would, I could do anything in there, and it's like, well, what do I want to do? I'd like a little direct.
Okay, I'll do that.
That sounds like a good idea. The other thing I was thinking when you were talking about you having research and then knowing like where to put it when you see something, I know part of me worries that gets very, busy with like on Facebook feed, right? If I have friends who I know, if there's anything about chicken, it's going to get on this one friend's post. If there's anything about crochet, it's going to get on this one, but not because they post it, because everyone posted, right? Like this, hey, this is a sense making thing. So I got to tell Adriel and Bentley about it. So like, I don't know what the tagging is so that it's actually like with a project, what I would find helpful would be the categories of those, like having, like, I don't want any blog post to be like, oh, this is somewhat a little bit pertaining to your stuff, because one, I don't like homework and that feels like homework. But like, if it's not explaining it to me, right? Like if it's real research, I want to know about it. If it's something in the same space I'm in that I don't know about, I want to know about it. But how are you going to know, right? And so there's something about, but that's not the tool you're creating, but like having organized research, right? Where it's like, as things come up, has someone posted already, and how does it get somewhere so that it can get to the person who needs it in a way that it's not just a news feed, right? Of like, oh, there's 15,000 things that are saving the world and I cannot possibly read through all of them, even though they absolutely pertain to what.
Yeah, so like if someone's posting on my projects page, like, oh, I think this is interesting, do I have the ability to de-emphasize that or hide it, or?
What I'll do is once it's set up, you'll have access to it, so you can change, you can update it, you can, if someone's left, if you can have the choice whether you want comments on it or not. You can have your contact details so they can contact you. But it's up to you. It'll be up to you because it's your project, and you can have what you want seen or not seen. And as I said, if you may be thinking about something that you wanted to put that you didn't want public, you could make it so that it wasn't in the public realm, sort of thing. So you'd have a choice between sort of like out in the public or kind of, between whoever's in the community space. I've got to call it a co-creating space sort of thing, just so, right. So I'll show you, and then you can see, and then, as I said, we can have a chat about categories and stuff, because I was going to ask you about project categories and what types of categories that are out there, because I noticed on the NAC site you couldn't tell what status a project was at. So whether it was just the ideas, the planning, the execution, they're already launched, there was no way of telling that. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's, but I'll do it and I'll show you.
Sounds good. Looking forward to playing with it. Is there anything else we need to discuss outside of that, i.e. the Facebook page itself, or anything that would help anyone else's project that can easily do that we're not doing in the moment right now?
Do you think with the Facebook page, though, do you think it'd be better if you posted about the live? Is there any way you could put the live, what we're doing here, up maybe a few days earlier or something?
I'm supposed to do it on Sunday, but it hasn't been getting done on Sunday. It got done yesterday, not even 24 hours beforehand. So yes, it should be, and I will try to get it up earlier than that. The things that we wanted to mention, Carrie and Bentley were there. We had a solution raising on voting with your wallet with Mark Campbell. And so next week at this time, we're doing a project raising for the same concept with Mark. So whoever wants to come to that and help raise that project, he'll give the parameters, and then we'll focus on creating that.
Are you going to be doing a project raising for solutions raising then?
No, because you and me and Embed are going to basically do that, right? Over the course of a couple of weeks, we're kind of doing a prolonged one, unless that's changed, and then maybe we'll see what comes out of our conversation tomorrow. My hair doesn't want to do it. I want to. Anyone else thoughts? I'll just.
So yeah, I guess. Is there any other TogetherTec Game B projects business we wanted to chat about?
Not that I can think of. I think like there's a lot of things that branch off of the project that Carrie is working on, but I think until we see it, not really sure where to go with it and sort of where to take that. There has been more people registering for NAC recently, which I didn't expect.
On the NAC
You mean like
website?
NAC?
Like the trying to get access to like as a member to the TogetherTec part of NAC.
How many people?
Like over the last 2 weeks, maybe 8.
Do the names look like people on the Facebook group, or do you think it's just
I haven't
people?
been comparing it.
Because I'm wondering. I mean, I think I did post it in the introduction for the Game B group,
Okay.
so that may be where they're getting it, or we may just be getting bots and stuff.
Right. That's always possible. But like there's one question asking like how did you hear about us, and they seemed like real answers, which I guess I think some of them did say the Game B at the Facebook page, and one that I just finally got around to activating today said like a web search, which that one theoretically could be fake because I'm not really sure how you'd find it through a web search, but they have found TogetherTec through a web search, and then but
So
It's
we'll
like
see.
weird stuff is like a few weeks ago, I Googled solution raising, and I was all that came up because there isn't anything else that comes up with solution raising. Now, when I look it up, both on Twitter, unless I hashtag it with it together, then I show up. But otherwise, raising solutions shows up before solution raising, even in quotation marks. And I was all that showed up. It was all my Facebook, all YouTube, all everything. And I'm just like, that is weird that that's no longer happening. But whatever, that there was something else to do with that. You're muted.
Sorry. So we wouldn't know if anyone was just going on the NAC site and putting a whole bunch of links to their own stuff. And just think we may need to. We'll have to make a decision at some point to shut down NAC if we want to go with what Carrie's done.
Yeah, I think at a certain point, yeah, because I also haven't been maintaining it all that much because I could currently still need somebody to go in there and manually improve the user accounts, which I haven't been great at doing because I didn't really think that we were using it. And then I started to get some registrations. But
You say this is like a cool agile project on a whole other level of like bring people together with projects, figure out like that we get a sandbox to play in and see if it can be something that is created around us. And because there's enough projects, it might actually turn into something powerful that other people want to come and be part of, and which is different. It's different than what we were doing. Of like, what's the bare minimum we can do alongside? Well, I guess we have to. Like, I think this is Harry's.
Oh, and I forgot.
Before and stuff, which is different and cool. That like it's not like I've had someone make me a web page for free and awesome, but they can't maintain it and I can't maintain it. This is like a agile. It will grow around us and with us and draw the other involved in it, I guess.
So I forgot I also took over the GameBee wiki page and just put a link to our NAC site. So anyone, GameBee projects wiki.
Did you talk to the people at the wiki page in terms of what we could put on there, or managing it, or what?
Well, yeah. I mean, first of all, you don't need to ask because it's a wiki.
Right.
Second of all, yes, I did ask, and they basically said, "Sounds good." So I went and made the changes, and I said, "Hey, I made the changes." They said, "Okay." They didn't
Right.
seem to mind that I wiped out everything they had before. I mean, I linked to it, just buried it further, but
Well, are you wanting
one
any other
cared.
stuff put on there then?
Well, I would rather not have duplicate places we have to update things. So if we're going to put,
Right. Okay.
so what I think we'll do is once we get comfortable with your site, we'll remove the NAC site and put that
Okay.
your site there, and then if we want to, yeah, I would not want to have two places we have to update. So we'd have to
Okay.
figure out. Now, it'd be neat if we ever need to if we want to expose stuff out there more to find some way to auto-populate it or something.
Right. Because I know MediaWiki is part of the Drupal module. It's one of them. The wiki that the
Drupal
game
module
B.
has a Wikipedia.
Yeah, but
plugin.
MediaWiki, what the game B wiki's on, that's a kind of plugin from a module that comes with Drupal, so you could attach it or whatever they call it.
I think Drupal has. Okay, yeah, they might have a integration point.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't know about that.
Integrate, that's the word, integration thing. Right.
Yeah. So it'd be nice on that first page to say, have our first page on that page too, and then when they click in, it takes them to our thing, and you get more abilities. That'd be nice at some point, but yeah, let's see how it goes.
Oh, and also, would you want? I'm not sure you can do feeds from groups into a main space. I'm not sure you'd want that anyway, but that's a possibility. But I think because I'm part of this social media marketing group for Facebook and that, and it's been interesting following them and seeing what they do. But I know they were saying they could have pages and groups. Is there a Game B project page as well?
On the wiki?
Well, no, just in
Or on-
Facebook. You
well,
know,
we are not a page. No, we just have the Game B projects group.
right? Because I was thinking if there's, because a lot of people get traction from the page, right? So you could choose your page to have certain specific items on that would lead to maybe, if they're interested in that, coming to join the group or what have you.
I think that's usually helpful when you have a public page and a private group. So
Right.
since we have a
Okay.
public group, I think we show up in the searches the same as if we had a public page. I
Okay.
could be wrong on that though.
Okay.
Plus, there's already so many Game B groups that like them duplicating and having Game B pages as well is like a whole other level of too much. But I do that. I might get your help to do that for solution raising. I have a page in a group for that.
Any other interesting news that people want to talk about? That's kind of Game B-ish.
I think at some point, you, me, and maybe Matush and whoever else can connect about the org tracker that we talked about using the prototype for WikiElection / Conferati and seeing how those sort of overlap.
So yeah, also on this meeting next week, when we talk about the
voting with your wallet.
The voting with your wallet, that I'm thinking the same base technology would be used for. First of all, that does overlap with the company's one.
Yeah.
The politicians one would be slightly different, but I think it would be the same base tech. So yeah, I'm hoping to build the base tech. And I don't know if y'all saw the Google Doc I shared on the Tuesday thing. So in there, I put in my ideas, including my suggested technology for it. I'm thinking about going with MongoDB instead of Firebase. so that's a little bit more cloud agnostic. And it turns out MongoDB now has cloud functions, and it's not called Mongo. It's their bigger thing, but cloud functions and authentication. So it's kind of like the open source version of Firebase.
So where did you say that you put that Google Doc?
On the Thursday, I guess it was the Thursday.
Oh, like it was in a comment
Or
on
maybe it was
the
today.
live stream?
Yeah, is the comment on the what have you done? Your
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah. I was thinking about making a bigger post, but since we're kind of following Mark's project, I wanted to let that be the driving force. But we'll keep in mind in the conversation that we also want to do that. And then I have a no-code solution finder and community rating system that I want to use it for too. So see if we can get all that stuff together in one core project that can then be reused. Might have enough people to actually, enough interest to, get more than 2 people on something for once.
Right.
Yeah, I'll catch up with this on this weekend, because for the past few days I was badly distracted with just amazing amount of things. So I did notice the ideas and your post as well about it. So yeah, I'll catch up tomorrow most probably, and yeah.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about
It does
it
make sense.
Thursday.
Also, a reminder, tomorrow is our first
Mhm.
roundtable that's 5 hours later at 2 p.m. instead of 9 a.m. It is posted with the correct time on YouTube and Facebook, but if you didn't see that, it is. Ooh. So if you're all up and ready at the same time, 9 a.m., we're kind of meeting at 10 a.m. So
So has anyone actually asked for the later time, and specifically
that is a
going to
good question.
join the
Matoush, we'll see. We'll see if
Like-
anyone joins. I did ask the group. I said if it's at 2 p.m., who will watch it? Who will? And there was enough people. And there was some, I know there are Australians and New Zealanders who are like, Jonas might be there. I don't know. Like, this just is not at the right time for them. This one is actually. Sorry, this is not this one. The 9 a.m. one is like at 2 a.m.
But no one has made a commitment
No.
of any sort.
And so if after I'd say 2 weeks, no one shows up. I mean, it's the 5 of us a lot, like anyway. So why move it to 2 p.m. and 9 a.m. if we're the only ones coming? But it might be different people watching at 2 p.m. and we might get
Yeah, and I
different.
guess at 2 p.m. do we just in general hit more people in the world? I guess so, maybe.
quite possibly. It's like late in Europe, but not super late, and early in Australia, but not super early. I think that's just, and it works for North America when we all know the world centers around the universe. I think, right?
That's right. San Francisco
America?
specifically.
Maybe Washington. Canada is pretty.
Mm.
We like to be like the entourage.
Okay, well, maybe we can go ahead and end early if
Yeah.
if we all have our own projects we're working on.
Sounds good. All right. End broadcast. Thanks, TogetherTec.